In this video, you'll learn about urban unsustainability, particularly how urban area is growing unsustainably for a long time, and how this cannot continue because of inherent issues related to water and resource. Why it is important? Because green infrastructure is a critical, is important solutions that can help designing sustainable urban infrastructures. So that's why I want to show you what caused to the unsustainability and so that you can connect with a green infrastructure design. The first thing is it's important to know that urbanization has been happening for many years. It is being very rapid in last 20, 30 years. As of now, there are more than 50% of world population is living in urban areas. And this is going to continue to increase. That's why it's important to see how we can develop or you can expand this urban area without really, creating multiple issues that I wanted to show you what those issues are. So this is just a statistics just to see that 57% of the people are living right now by 2023 in US, more than 80% are living in urban areas. And if you are from California, that's like 94%. So as you can see, this is being increasing, and over time, in next by 2050, more than 85% people in the world is going to live in urban areas, and most of those will be in Africa, sub in Asian countries. So that will put a lot of pressure on those cities. For instance, you can see here example of the urbanization in Las Vegas in 1907. There was nothing there, and then as once that was established and the dam was created, then that will provide the electricity and water. That's why the Las Vegas was very basically made possible by this water resource here. And this is you see that now in 1995, this is constantly the yellow area is basically all the urban areas. It's been expanding very rapidly, and it's very important to understand the consequence on environments. Another aspect of green infrastructure is climate change. Climate change is happening that makes we have now longer drying durations. We have sometimes we get, or many times we are getting drought now, and the intensity of rainfall is increasing, and we getting fewer and intense rainfall. So this basically changing the hydrological cycle. That means the amount of water that we are getting is used to be distributed. Now we are getting in a very high, fewer rainfalls. So it's basically makes it very difficult to store that water, and that means we are increasingly getting water scarcity, not just for population increase, but also because of the changing climate. And green infrastructure is part of the solution. So we'll learn how we can, how it is helping. Another aspect of issues climate change is that as I said, the rainfall season is because shrinked, and a lot of times is for many years it doesn't rain that much. So that means our surface water reservoir is decreasing. This is example of Cape Town, and that's where the water drops within few months. This was in the top picture was January 3, and the bottom picture is January 14. So as you can see in I'm sorry, January 3, 2014, and this is January 14, 2018. So in just 4 years, the amount of water drops is very significant. So this over here, the town ran out of water. So that means what we can do in future is to protect the cities so that they don't run out of water. So that's basically our goal here for green infrastructures. And green infrastructure is also part of environmental justice issues. This picture just show that in locations in India where entire community depend on this one well. And this one well, the water has been going down so much that they could not, it's increasingly difficult for them to even to have enough water for them. And the reason for that is because in a very big city near that village, particularly Mumbai, they draw most of the groundwaters to sustain the city. So that means everything around those area are depleted and have less resource now to for the water. So this is also part of environmental justice issues, and green infrastructures can have enough other side of it. For instance, in US, when you have a green infrastructures that can, if you install these green infrastructures in a locations, then increase the property value because of greening and other issues, that could also ended up having gentrifications because of increase in property. Certain fraction of society will not be able to afford those housings. So you have both positive and negative side of green infrastructure. So this is the environmental justice issue, something that we have to be aware of. So the question here is that why urbanization decreases water quality or quantity. So this picture starts to show that initially pre-development we have trees and plants and bare soil, which allow most of the water to be infiltrated so that replenish the groundwater. But as you have less and less impervious surface, as you can see top to right, the infiltration decreases and increasing runoff. Here 10%, that's 20%. And as you can see here, as you get more and more, the runoff becomes so high, so that lead to floodings, pollutions, everything else. Not only that, it also deplete the groundwater reservoirs. So that means we have less water over time because of urbanizations, and also we have more runoff, which is basically waste. So the green infrastructure goal is to reverse this trend. And other aspect of urbanization is because of the large area of impervious surface, it causes flooding. Flooding means water is moving very fast, and that could lead to erosions and water scarcity. And water scarcity is connected with the lack of groundwater, also lack of ability to hold that excess surface water when there is a high rainfall. And because the runoff volume and intensity is increasing, that means if the erosions and everything else is carrying all that pollutants accumulate in the surface and polluting the existing surface water reservoirs. So has basically result in decreasing in water quantity as well as in decreasing in water quality. One of the unique aspect of this issues is the combined sewer overflow, which happens in East Coast, where mostly your sewer lines are connected with the stormwater lines, but both are same. That means when there is excess rainfall, those that reach the capacity. That means both sewer and stormwater will have overflow, and that resulting in high amount of surface water contaminations. So these are the issues, and in the textbook you can see some of these examples. Here you can see because of high runoff velocity and everything, you see this stream erosions. That means that property has now much wider stream. And this is flooding. This is again just to show different stream flow has changed. Other things has happens in different locations. So these are the reason for urban unsustainability. And again, if we can explain it, we can think certain way that in typical urban expansion means we collect waters from different locations, like how it is Los Angeles. We use them, it become wastewater, we discharge them to ocean, other places. And then similar thing to build it, we get materials and it produce waste that goes to landfill. That is unsustainable as the city expand. But that means to increase sustainability, we have to change this approach. That means we have to recycle or reuse. And so that means here you can see the water becomes wastewater, but that wastewater can be treated and reused as the source of water. The same thing, you can, instead of wasting the storm water, you can capture it and reuse in location like Los Angeles. So this is part of the reason why green infrastructure has a key role for urban sustainability. That's why we need to understand that. So the key role, again, to summarize, is that what green infrastructure does, it allow water to move through the systems and have a storage system. So for instance, here, you can have this pond. So this excess water can be stored here. So that means it reduces the chance of flooding, because the excess water, when it comes, if there are nowhere to go, that basically elevate the amount of water in the regular areas. And you also reduce the peak flow. Peak flow means, when you have when a high amount of rainfall happens in your locations, flooding can definitely occur. But if there is the intensity is much higher, it can inundate much larger area. And also at the peak of the flow, the velocity is so high that it can erode and break a lot of things, damage a lot of properties. So to reduce the peak means excess the flow rate. We can use green infrastructures to reduce that not just the volume but also the velocity at the peak. And the third functions, which is to improve water quality, and that can be achieved by many different kind of green infrastructures, but not all green infrastructures can have a water quality benefits. Most of them are related to flood controls, but there are very specific one which has very high amount of water pollutants can be removed.